Suzy Shuster in for Rich Eisen, who will be calling in momentarily. He had a couple down days coming back from Munich, but he's back. He's better than ever, and he's on the phone right now. Hi, Rich.
Hey, hon, how are you?
How are you doing? How are the dogs?
Oh, they're wonderful. How
are these dogs? They're
Wow,
fine.
you were really going to call us dogs,
How are these dogs?
weren't you?
They're fine.
That
My
is
dogs here,
awful.
they're great.
You were going to call us dogs.
I would like to think I'm his dog, though. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yes.
it's my dog right there.
Yeah, but D-A-W-G. Like, come on.
Correct. D-A-W-G-S.
Where my dog's at.
Or D-A-W-G-Z. How about that?
I see.
Either
I'm
works.
rubbing off on you, Rich. I'm
Either
rubbing off
work.
on you.
Yeah.
Dicky eyes.
How are you?
Calling from the pup list.
I know.
Rich, how many
I know.
dogs are staring at you right now? One or two?
None. I'm outside to make sure that there's good reception. So.
Okay.
He's still a professional, even in his sickly state, Suze.
Oh, wait a minute. They're both out here with me.
See, I told you.
Oh, geez.
We'll hear barking any minute now.
There they
There
are.
they are. There are the ladies. They had to spend some time with him. I made rich chicken soup, you guys. I am saying that I do make a couple things, and I crush chicken soup.
I remember you made Jerry West chicken soup.
I did.
once.
I did.
So we were hoping that you'd bring us some.
Top 5 best things that you make.
Yeah, go.
All
Number
right,
5.
Ready, Rich?
Number 5.
Number 5, I make the greatest Thanksgiving turkey of all time.
Ooh,
Correct,
that's a
Rich?
bold
Yes.
statement, Cotton.
Yes.
Bold
Yes.
statement. I defy you to make a better turkey than the one that I make.
I've had it.
I don't know. Linda
Chris has
Jefferson's
had it.
watching this. You know that, right, Susie?
Yep.
Hi, Linda. Good morning. Number 4, looks like poop, tastes amazing. It's lima beans and short ribs that my grandmother would make. By the way, a
that sounds
sick
delicious.
recipe. It's amazing.
Really
Rich, thoughts?
I'm in full agreement.
Okay.
I'm in
Is
full
he
agreement
allowed to
so far.
disagree, though?
Well,
Of course I
Kelly.
am. Wait to hear what number one is. Wait to hear what number one is.
well, don't jump the line yet, Rich.
Yeah.
We're only at
I
number
we
4.
only have 3.
Had 3.
We're
Go.
building.
I think we go chicken soup, and then we say I don't make anything else that well. Is that right? Reservations are number 1.
Hey,
Reservations. Hey there.
Number two is reservations, and number 1 is Postmates.
Yes. I think I'm better at reservations than I am at Postmates, but this is not what you called in for, Rich. This is a sports radio,
I'm here.
national syndicated Roku extravaganza. We called in to ask your questions about Aaron Rodgers and the wobbly passes and the sprained thumb, Rich. Are you concerned about Aaron Rodgers?
Oh, I think the Packers are done, actually. And I know he said he's got 6 games left, and I totally understand why the leader of a team would take to the podium and say there's 6 games left, especially since this is a team that has perennially made the playoffs and last several years was the 1 seed and won at least 13 games a year in the first 3 years of Matt LaFleur's tenure there, and this being year 4. So I totally understand why he would say it, but the writing on the wall is what it is. The standings are what they are, and right now what they are is 4-7. The division's finished, that is for sure, because they are now 6+ games behind the Vikings, and so the division's gone. I think we could have, placed that in the dustbin a few weeks ago, but now that's official. And then you have to take a look and see how they make the playoffs as a wild card, maybe as a 7 seed, one would think. So you take a look at that, and who would they battle for that? Well, it would be the loser of the NFC West. And right now, that's currently the 49ers. You'll hear from my conversation with Nick Bosa later on. And, I think we can all agree that the Niners and the Seahawks both are playing better football, even with what happened in Munich, than the Packers. So that's a problem. And then you take a look at the games that they've already lost. One of them is to the Giants, who would obviously have a tiebreak over them if they wind up having the same record somehow. The bottom would have to fall out of the Giants for that. Then you say, okay, let's say the Commanders go on a nice run. That was a great chat you had with Ron Rivera yesterday, and I think we agree that would be Taylor Heineke's gig moving forward. But let's say the Commanders wind up as a 7 seed. The Packers already lost to them, too. The only tiebreak they currently have going for them with a team that's currently in wild card position is Dallas. And I don't think Dallas is going to lose so many more games that the Packers win 6 in a row and suddenly they're tied with Dallas too. I don't see it. I don't see a path of viability for the next. I don't see them winning 6 in a row. I don't see them having the ability to. I don't see the health for Rodgers. I don't see the run game being consistent. I don't see anything that puts Green Bay in the playoffs, and that's what I saw last night.
Rich calling in on the Mercedes-Benz Vans phone line. But, Rich, does that mean that he's a $59 million backup quarterback?
Who is?
Aaron Rodgers.
What do you mean by a backup quarterback? What do you mean by that?
Do we think that we'll see Jordan Love showing up? Do we think this is just going to be him playing out? What do you think is going to happen?
I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, they have to play him. I mean, he's got to play. He wants to play, and I just don't see that they're going to see what they have in Love. I think that's a tough spot. You know, obviously, if Rodgers and this team, you know, their next game is against Philadelphia, God bless them, in Philly on a Sunday night, the whole country might watch them fall to 4-8. And if that happens and Rodgers' thumb is significant, maybe you do see him, quote unquote, be shelved for the rest of the year due to injury. And even if Love does get out there and show something, I mean, what would that mean? I mean, you just take a look at Rodgers' contract and you'll see that him being traded or him retiring would just absolutely destroy their cap. I mean, it would obliterate it. I don't know what the answers are other than this is a lost season, Davante Adams' departure, and the fact that they replaced him with young kids that are finally just now, in the case of Christian Watson, showing what they can do. And, you know, Dobbs needs to get back out there and healthy, see what they can do. You just chalk it up to this was the very rarest of rebuilding years. And by rare, meaning, you know, Green Bay is used to winning a lot. And you don't normally see a rebuilding year with a back-to-back MVP quarterback making as much as Rodgers is making. I mean, we talked all offseason about what Green Bay would look like and what the season might be like. And Davante Adams' departure, how would that roost? What would happen? We're getting our answer. And it's a non-playoff season in which a regression seems to have taken place that will be significant if the team can overcome it and have a good year next year. Because, again, as you know, we're not flamethrowers on this show, and we don't say things just for clicks. But the reality is 4-7. Division leader has only one loss right now, and the only team that's currently in a wild card spot or right around it that the Packers have a tiebreak against is Dallas. That's it. So it looks significantly bleak for Green Bay after last night's loss.
And can you imagine you're Ryan Tannehill? You've had a great game, 22 of 27 passing for 333 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no one's talking about your performance because everyone's so busy being concerned about Aaron Rodgers. But he had a great game last night.
Well, I mean, that's the way it goes for teams that take on Rodgers or Brady or the Cowboys, right? Or Mahomes, is that their loss frequently overshadows the actual win that takes place. And you look at Tennessee in this fantasy football world, and everybody overlooks them. But and this is just another case. I mean, Tannehill last night, the number of times, I think they showed it on the broadcast, the number of times that the Packers put 6 guys on the line and 1 linebacker behind to try and take away the running lanes of Derrick Henry, basically dared the Titans to have Tannehill win the game. And he did it. I mean, he did throw 1 interception, but that throw to Austin Hooper that was initially ruled not a catch was a dynamite throw. Traylon Burks, the kid who they drafted out of Arkansas, was that height weight comp guy for A.J. Brown. I mean, they traded Brown and then used the pick they got from Philadelphia to get a younger, exact height, weight, speed guy as him. He's finally healthy, and, you know, he had a huge catch to start it, and then that big shocker right before the 2-minute warning to end it. And Vrabel is just, you know, as I said the other day, he's like the MacGyver coach or the the Apollo 13 engineers using whatever pieces of the LEM they have to try and get the astronauts home. It works, and they buy it. And Henry is a Hall of Famer. I think I think Marshall won't stutter if you ask him later on, will he be sharing the same bus room as him? Guy's a Hall of Famer.
Really?
I mean,
really, Hall of Famer?
He's a Hall of Fame. I think he is a Hall of Famer, and no question, he's on that path. And I know Brockman, you've thrown out that list. Who's currently active that is a Hall of Famer? I don't know how you can't include him as to what he's done. I mean, last night I think they had the stat line he put up yesterday.
Well, he's only had 2 good years. That's why.
That Walter Payton. I mean, he's an MVP candidate every year for this team. He is the MVP of this team. That's a 1 seed, and I understand that that they don't have the success in the world of the Mahomeses and Allens, but I think he's a Hall of Famer. I think he's absolutely a Hall of Famer.
He's on trajectory, no doubt.
Well, I sat there last night, and I'm like, we don't see anybody like him. He is, I mean, the number of times and I know this is not a Hall of Fame resume builder, but, I mean, he was pulling those sleeves up because his biceps were too big. They were shoving him down his arms. I mean, like, he's a physical specimen that just, in this day and age of the passing league, what he's doing is second to none. And let's just put it this way: by the way it all ends, if he stays healthy, he's in the Hall of Fame. And right now, I think you'd have to consider him if he doesn't play another down. That's my 2 cents on it. Ooh. I love the guy, and it's not just because he's on my fantasy team, and I desperately keep needing him to do what he's doing. But last night, I mean, if he caught one, if he had caught one, he would have matched Christian McCaffrey as throwing, running, and catching one. Like, he's unbelievable. He is truly remarkable. And we just overlook him because he's a Titan right now. Honestly, if he was a Patriot, if Derrick Henry was a Patriot or a Packer or a Cowboy, forget it. Forget it. We would be. I don't think there would be any argument as to whether he was a Hall of Famer.
I like him. I like him too, right? But he's 28. He only has 7,800 yards, and he's only had 2 good years. So I don't know how you could say he's a Hall of Famer with 0 playoff success.
Okay, well, I guess we'll have to see how it all plays out.
Yeah, we'll put it.
I mean, he's gonna reach 10,000 yards rushing. That seems to be the thing that opens up the
just
door.
look how Derrick Henry plays, though, and the injuries that he's had to his feet. He's a huge guy. Do you really see him having super success post age 30?
I think the man's a monster, and he's an anomaly myself.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you watch him running down the field. He's taking 7 or 8 guys with him. And they're just going along for the ride. They're skiing behind him.
Yeah, but Brandon Jacobs was what we thought was the same type of player.
I don't think Brandon Jacobs.
I think this is more special.
You want to talk about size?
I'm talking about size. And like Brandon Jacobs, when it was over, it was over.
Derrick Henry, to me right now, but he's overlooked. Like, who's
the whole the Titans as a whole are overlooked.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if he was a Patriot right now, Chris? Seriously. The Northeast would be talking about giant. If Derrick Henry was a giant, Derrick Henry was a Patriot. Derrick Henry, keep going on, a Cowboy. Derrick Henry as a Packer. Derrick Henry is a 49er. I mean, or Steeler. What if Derrick Henry was a Steeler? You know what I mean? Like, it's just he's constantly overlooked. And, maybe I'm still a little bit hopped up on caffeine and whatever the hell I'm taking, but I think I'll be proven right in the end.
I'm with you on that one, Rich.
Ask Marshall.
He has less career rushing yards than Zeke Elliott. So is Zeke Elliott a Hall of Famer?
I think Zeke Elliott is on trajectory,
Marshall.
yes.
Okay.
Ask Marshall.
Good thing we have a Hall of Famer calling in. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Good thing.
He's in football heaven. Ask him.
He was fairly decent at his job back in the day. So
I've seen better, but whatever. Before we play a little rousing edition of the Rich Eisen home version of What's More Likely, Rich, just quick question. With Aaron Judge being the AL MVP, there was a headline about Aaron Judge to the Mets. What would that do to your stomach, you think, if that happened?
Well, I would be in a fetal position in a corner somewhere and holding all my calls from various high school friends and my older brother. And T.J. Jefferson.
Yeah,
and
you'd have a hard time hiding from me, though.
Let's move on. Let's move on. Moving on, as you said yesterday, the Brian Gumble phrase. Moving on.
Let's move on.
No shots. No chance.
Let's move on to a brewing beer scandal happening in Qatar. How about that? Was that a good transition?
I do like it. Yes.
Can you imagine you go all the way to Qatar, and they have now banned the sale of beer in the stadiums, but not in the luxury suites, I might add.
Oh, my goodness.
This is a scandal that only Jeremy Schaap will be able to answer in the next hour. But what's your reaction? You imagine you go all the way there, you go to a soccer match, a football match without beer? How's that going to happen?
I can't imagine it, and I'll tell you this, Suze. I think you'll agree. If you want anybody to chime in on the subject of drinking and the Middle East, it's definitely Jeremy Schaap. I mean, I think Schaap is going to have that beat nailed down, and I can't wait to hear what he's got to say about it.
All right, Rich. Brockman's got a special home edition version of. What are we calling the segment? What's more likely? What's more likely?
Thanks for watching the show, Suze.
Honey, I just listened to the show and call in and complain.
She's a mom of 3, Chris. Like, get off her back.
By the way, next time I forget something or next time you forget something, wouldn't be like, Chris, thanks for watching the show or paying attention. Hey, Rich, what's more likely? Here we go.
Let's go. Hit it, Mike.
Where's the drop?
What's more likely?
Never say never, but never.
All right, so I did create some Rich Eisen only ones. Do we have any music? There you go.
Usually Rich asks for it. I was giving him a chance.
We added some more guests, Rich, so we're just going to run through the whole kit and caboodle, I think.
Yo.
What's more likely, coach to be back with his team next year, Nathaniel Hackett or Josh McDaniels?
I'll go Josh McDaniels if he's more. I just think Mark Davis is going to,
doesn't have any money
with this program. Yes. Because, look, I mean, Mark Davis, just in the mere fact, Mark Davis is the one who hired Josh McDaniels. The current ownership of the Denver Broncos, did not hire Nathaniel Hackett. So that's more of a wild card, and that's why I will go with them and him over the Vegas Raiders and McDaniels.
Based on last night's game, what's more likely, Titans get the 1 seed or Packers sneak into the 7th spot?
Oh, Titans get the 1 seed. I just laid it all out there for you. Although the problem for the Titans is that they lost that overtime game in Kansas City that still,
right.
I can't believe they had a shot to win that with Malik Willis, but that's going to be a problem for them as a bad tiebreak for them with and they also lost to the Bills. They'll have to both fall below Tennessee. But I just don't see a path to 7 for Green Bay. They have to win all 6. I think it will take 10 wins to get the 7th seed, because the 7th seed will either be occupied by Dallas, the Giants, or the loser of the NFC West, most likely. And so I'll go with Tennessee on that one.
Number 2 seed currently to sneak into the top spot. Who's got the best chance to be the 1 seed? Dolphins or Vikings?
I'll go with the Dolphins right there, because again, the Vikings already lost to Philadelphia in week 2, so they don't have that tie break for themselves. And I will go with that. And just think. Although, man, I'll tell you what, man.
I'll tell you what, man.
We've established the last 6 games for Miami. That's one of the things we've been pounding on for about 2-3 weeks. The last 6 games for Miami is a crucible. It is a gauntlet. But I'll still stick with Miami on that one.
Social media platform you'll waste the most time on if Twitter dies, Instagram or TikTok?
Well, I'm not on TikTok right now, although if Twitter goes, TJ, guess what?
Okay, we'll have no choice.
Suze, do we make Zan? Do we give Zan his wish? Entering 9th grade, that he runs the Rich Eisen Show TikTok account. You will be the gatekeeper on that one.
Yeah, absolutely not. Do we want to pay for our house? I'm so afraid of what he might put out there. You might lose your job. So I think the answer is no.
TJ, you're going to have to get on that TikTok. I hate to tell you, man.
It's about damn time.
Hey!
You like what I did there?
By the way, Xander not letting you go to Lizzo tonight, I'm kind of offended by that.
Yeah. Did I tell you this, Rich, that he had 4 choices to take him if you were out of the mix, and I think you're back in the mix. Yeah. It was, I came in 4th, and the reason being I was not fun.
That's so harsh.
Mom, you won't let me get everything. I said, no one's going to let you get everything.
True.
Mom, you're not fun.
Oh, God. I'm sorry, Suze. I've also been the one listening to Lizzo with him in the car, perhaps more.
Favorite Lizzo song, Rich?
About Damn Time is a great song.
Right.
Yeah, it's Bad B
Bad B o'clock.
All right, Rich, who's more likely the 7-win team to get upset this week? Who gets upset, Giants or Chiefs?
I don't think there's any chance in hell. So the Giants play who again this week? Just off the top of my head, they play Detroit.
Yes.
Yep.
Home for the Lions.
I'll go. The Giants are more likely to get upset this week because I don't think there's any way on this green earth that the Chargers beat the Chiefs with Henry Winkler and Patrick Mahomes.
That's true.
I don't think there's any shot that the Winkler-Mahomes summit that we have made possible within the SoFi Stadium suite of Patrick Mahomes, that there's no shot Mahomes loses this game with the Fonz in attendance. With Gene Cousineau in attendance for him. That's not happening.
What's more likely, people know Henry Winkler as the Fonz or Gene Cousineau?
I think he's still the Fonz.
Yeah, it's got to be, right?
Still the Fonz to a lot of people.
It's got to be the Fonz.
Who's Gene Cousineau?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
You don't watch Barry?
You don't watch Barry?
I did.
On HBO? It's an amazing
you guys say
show.
you don't watch
that
Barry
didn't
like it's
stick with me.
MASH or something. Like, come on.
I mean,
That
Barry's
didn't
pretty
stick
good.
with me. The Fonz stuck with me.
All right, Rich, what's more likely, Tom Brady wins another Super Bowl or gets married again?
Oh.
Oh, my God.
That is
What
such
the
a
hell?
crazy picture of him, by the way. This
What the
picture of
hell is
Tom,
the
he looks
matter
like he's
with you?
75 years old. This
We
is so
don't
not
traffic in this
my
sort of
Tom.
stuff. We don't traffic in this sort of stuff. And by the way,
So win a Super Bowl? That's your answer?
Yeah, he's going to win a Super Bowl. And so I'll also say this: if Felly doesn't have a tattoo of it, he doesn't understand it. So
Wow.
My feet do say left and right, so that's fair.
Good point.
All right, an actual football one. What's more likely to have more rushing yards this Sunday, Justin Fields or the whole Falcons?
Oh my gosh, I like it. I'll go Justin Fields.
Ooh, Doc Rivers will
what
like
he's
that
doing.
one.
I think what Justin Fields is doing is dynamite, and he's been one of the most positive surprises, along with the rest of the Bears and Eberflus this year. Even though they just lost to the Lions, I'll take Fields on that one. That's a good one.
All right, most likely, last one here, Rich. Most likely Monday headline, Bills on 3-game losing streak or Eagles lose second straight?
Well, I have this feeling about Jeff Saturday doing it at home for the first time, and Jonathan Taylor running past the new Eagle and Ndamukong Suh, despite what the Eagles have done to shore up that defensive line. But I will say the more likely is that because as we're talking right now, the Browns are busing to Detroit. And I think Josh Allen in a dome is going to just light the Browns right up, certainly since this is the last game that they're starting with Brissett, who I don't think got every snap this week either because Deshaun Watson is back. This is, by the way, the last game without Watson for the Browns.
Yep.
I don't think the Bills lose this one in any way, shape, or form. I'll go with the Colts shocking the Eagles is more likely.
Ooh, there
Wow.
you go. All right, everybody. That's what's more likely.
It's
There you
pretty
go.
anticlimactic, too, to move the game from Buffalo. It's kind of a bummer.
Well, I mean, it's thunder snowing right now. They can't even get out. I don't even know if the Bills don't even know how they're going to get out. I think they're going to have to. I don't know. They're going to
Submarine.
have to follow a snowplow. I have no idea right now. But the Browns are busing, and I'm not terribly pleased to hear that for the Browns fans.
Yeah, I can hear it. Well, Rich, go let the dogs out, will you?
if you will.
All right. Thanks very much. Much more Rich Eisen Show when we come back. Rich, we're still on Roku, and let's just talk about Von Miller and his car. I think he's going to have some serious issues getting his car out. Mr. Hoskins, can we put that up so we can show everybody watching on Roku? Look at this car.
Just buried.
How do we know that's a car?
It might be a truck.
I don't know what that is. It's covered in snow.
3 feet of snow covering this thing. Yeah, it's rough.
Is this like video of him?
Yeah, he posted this video this morning.
He's going to keep his day job. That's a tough video. I'd like to see like a 360 version of it or something like that.
I'm looking on his Twitter, and I just see him on Twitch. I'm seeing him.
Yeah, it's the one that says "Good morning, Buffalo."
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Found it.
Nailed it. Nailed it.
You better put the tennis rackets on his feet and get hoofing.
Well, we were saying yesterday, would you go to a game with a snowfall like that? Because I think the residents of Buffalo would have probably turned out for the game no matter what, because they have hot water running through their veins.
Yeah, I guess so. My gosh, that would have been something else. But it also, I don't know. I guess wouldn't it have been 3-0? Don't you think?
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
I got Gabe Davis in my fantasy league. He's got to score.
I know, same.
Me too.
Yeah, but you're going down this week to Cooper Eisen, aren't you?
No, that's basketball. That's the
Oh,
basketball.
sorry, I don't pay attention to fantasy.
By the way, I let him have his iPad. I made sure he took care of his team against me, which is something better than Uncle TJ decided to do. He just sat back and watched his opponent bench Kevin Durant when he was active, like he would ever do that.
Hey, you got to blame that on his co-GMs, mom and dad, for that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not giving him the iPad unless he earns it, TJ.
Well,
I run a very tight ship.
And then that's the problem we're going to have here, because you can't not allow the team owner to have access to his team and then get mad at me because I stomped him.
Well, yeah, but you're going down the next time.
I'm getting work this week.
From where I currently was, and the dogs have a lot of landmines here. I got to go. Oh, my goodness.
Good luck, Rich.
That's Xander's job, honey.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Have a great day.
Sounds good.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.